When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly, and you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth.
All right, guys, we're back for another week. Got not a lot to catch up on, but a couple little things. First and foremost, so my boss got me to start working out with her, which is good because I finally got released, and so I can do things on my foot again. So
Where are y'all working out?
Well, she works out at Hotworks, and you can bring a friend, as many friends as you want. Everybody gets like a first time free. So she's taken a couple people that I work with, and so she took me one night, and I loved it because you're in your own little personalized sauna.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of different rooms, and one of them has like bikes in them. One has row machines. One you could do like...
Are you hot no matter what room you're in?
Yeah, it's a sauna. And so I love it because you sweat and like you're sweating out all the toxins, and then you have infrared. So that helps with like your muscles and everything. And that you get to track all your workouts. It tells you like how many calories you burn. And they like, once you get to like certain levels like of calories burned, they give you like money back, or it's like you can put money towards your fees, or if you want to buy,
Is it a membership or is it like
It is a membership, but like it's like month to month. Like when you sign up, you have like a 3-month like time that you have to stay, and then after that you can cancel, without being charged or whatever. And I just love it. And like only 3 people can fit in a room at a time. There's only like room for like 3 mats. And when you go and you schedule your appointments on the app, you can see if there's anybody in the room. So you could schedule it to where you're alone, or if you want to book with a friend. Usually me and my boss will go together. And so that's nice because you have the privacy of like nobody can see you, and so you're just working out, doing your thing. And it's
what
just
kind
so
of working
nice.
out is it? Is it all like yoga? Like what are you doing?
There's different ones. So like there's a yoga one, there's a stretch one, there's like a Pilates one. There's,
and like they tell you what to do?
Yeah. There's a little screen that you can follow the instructor that shows you different moves to do, or you can do your own thing, or you could just sit in the sauna and sweat. You know what? You can do whatever you want.
So your boss wants to invite me with you?
You can come anytime.
I'm serious. I want to try it because I've heard good things.
I really
like from other people.
I went one time with her and I was like, yep, I'm signing up for this.
All right. Well, let me know.
It is.
I want to go with you.
So much fun. And every time I do it, you just sweat so much that you just feel like you really accomplished.
I need that.
You
in
really,
my life.
and even if you're just going to sweat it out, it's so good.
I need that because, as we all know, perimenopause is kicking my ass. Mm-hmm. And if you eat, I will gain weight.
Yeah. If I eat in your vicinity.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. I don't know how that happens. I'm like, and I don't mind being thick, but you want to be a comfort level. There's a level where you're comfortable with not just how you look, but how you feel.
Yes.
And I'm a little past where I feel good. I'm like, I got to tie my shoe. This is going to hurt. Yeah. Not joking. Putting on my panties in the morning because I don't sleep in panties. So in the mornings when I get up and I get showered and dressed and everything, I go put my panties on. I'm always sore. I'm older, so I'm always a little crickety.
Yeah.
And it's a little. You got to like warm up for the day. Like if I go on a car ride for like 30 minutes, when I get out, I can't quite stand up straight for a second. I got to like warm up.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Gotta get all the joints juiced.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And it's all the time, 24/7. I'm like not sore because I did something. I'm just sore because I'm alive. Yeah. And so when I wake up and I put my panties on, it's become a joke with Rick because he'll like see me over there getting ready, trying to put my panties on. It's one of the first things I do. And I can't get my fucking legs to go in the... I'm like, oh, y'all don't even know.
Almost falling over.
It's embarrassing. It's not because I'm big. It's because my body is sore. Yeah. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. No. So I'm going with you. The moral is, like it or not, somebody has put me on the guest list.
You can come anytime you want.
Thank
you. It feels so good. It's been a long time since I've like had a workout regiment that I've made myself do, and just getting back into it. It's hard, but like I just feel so good about it.
Well, you're not going without me, so
girl,
we need to stay in the similar clothes sizes. I mean, you're smaller than me, but we need to stay similar so we can share.
I know, that's the most important thing.
I know, you're my only friend that's tall enough.
It makes me so happy to have a double wardrobe.
You have benefited more than me.
I can only fit so many clothes at my house. I need to be able to get some from you. So that's important.
Well, that's cool. Well, good for you.
I know.
I love that.
Thanks. Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, I'm patting you on the back too.
Thank you. And then the other thing is at the Boys and Girls Club, we did our first tween night last night, and it was a lot of fun. So we're opening up the club for longer hours just for our like tweens. So like 10 and up. So, because we're trying to grow our,
tween business,
all of our teens. We're trying to get more at the club and do more for them because they get the time that they're at their club. We have a lot of little kids running around, and so they get to do a lot of fun stuff. But having that time to themselves, we're trying to make that really special. And so last night was our first night, and it was awesome. I would say that it was great because we had pizza for them. We ordered pizza for them, and then we also gave them ice cream and made them lemonade, and so they felt like it was a nice little special time. They had an open gym, and then I had a bunch of different nail polish stuff so that the girls could paint their nails, and then they also roped most of the boys into it too, which I thought was so cute. And some of the boys were like, "Oh no!" I was like, "There's nothing wrong with that," and they're like, "Do you have nail polish remover?" But I'd actually forgot to bring it, so I was like, "Oh, sorry." But then they got one of the other staff members, he did let one of the girls do his nails. So then it was okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So I thought it was so, and then I braided a couple of their hair, in French braids, like the 2 French braids. And it was so sweet because 2 of the girls that I braided their hair, they were so excited because they had never had their hair braided in French braids before. And you don't think about how big of a thing that could be, because
they went to school today with those French
because it's a cute little style that a lot of girls wear, but not all parents can do French braids. It's kind of hard.
Mine, I cannot.
It's kind of hard to do it. So it made me feel good that something that small made such an impact on them because they'd never even had their hair
I
in French
love that
braids
you
before.
learned to French braid because I couldn't French braid and Zaylee needed it for drill team.
Sure did.
I want to put this out there. Kelly taught herself to French braid because I couldn't get it.
Yep.
And so she taught herself to French braid so that I had someone to help me with Zaylee's hair.
Because I tried to do Zaylee's hair. At first I tried it and I couldn't get it done. And she's like, and the fact that she was kind of flabbergasted that I didn't know how to, because she was like, figured that I could do everything.
You do.
She's like, you can do everything. You can't. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to do this. And I did. And I felt so accomplished that I learned a new skill.
I love it. My mom was an amazing French braider, and I never learned how. No one's ever. I always had my mom.
It's a little tricky. Once you learn, it's actually really simple, but it's tricky getting the movement down. But
maybe you need to teach me. It's a little late now, but someday I'll have grandkids.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's an important thing. And that made a big impact on me. I was like, man, something as simple as French braids can bring such happiness to somebody, it's crazy.
Awesome.
On another note, I hate my brother. Because so it's this running joke that nobody ever plays like board games with him. Growing up, you don't play board games with him because he is so competitive that it's not even fun anymore.
That is Rick and Madison.
He is his only goal is to win. It's not to have fun. It's to shame you.
Yes, to destroy. Rick's goal is to destroy.
Yes, many a time has ended up with me just flipping the board in his face because I'm over it and I don't care anymore. Anyway, so he started playing Monopoly Go on his phone, and he sent an invite. Me and him and my brother and Annie have a little group chat. So he sent us all an invite to start playing with him. And of course, my first thing was, heck no, I'm not playing that with you. You think I'm going to play Monopoly? No,
I already know better.
And he's like, no, it's a lot of fun. It's not just me you're playing with. You kind of you play everybody. I was like, no. Well, and he's like, well, just download it because if you download it, I'll get points and for inviting friends. And I was like, fine. So I downloaded it so that
now you're addicted.
Oh my gosh, every single day.
Miss, I hate my phone.
I can't play. I can't stop. It's so much fun. And one of my favorite parts is because you start building up your landmarks But if you land on a certain thing on a board, you get to go and demolish somebody's landmark.
Yeah.
And so I'll get to go to his board and like demolish his landmarks, and that feels really good. Or you can steal from their bank. You do a bank heist, and that's so much fun. So it is such a fun game now,
I'm
and
gonna
I'm
have
addicted.
to tell Madison about this.
It is a lot
because
of fun.
I bought at Christmas time. I wanted us to play some family games, and all my games are at the cabin because I've left them there. You know, as if we ever play But my kids and I, when we're there, do play games.
That's the time where you will play games because there's no TV there, and if there's bad weather, that you can't really do anything.
Right. I bought Monopoly for the house because I brought all our games down there, and I got Waxahachie Monopoly.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we have had so much fun with it. We played it so much. I think that's brilliant marketing on their part.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
So,
It for sure is. But yeah,
Well, that's
so I'm
fun.
hooked on Monopoly, Monopoly Go. It's a fun game if you want to download it. I'll tell you that. And like you can buy stuff on the game to like get you more dice and stuff, but you really don't have to. If you wait long enough, it gives you more dice rolls. And like the bigger you roll and play, like you start winning more stuff. And
we're not sponsored by Monopoly, but we should be.
just addicted to it, not sponsored.
So Monopoly, if you would like to sponsor us,
I'll get you some more people to download.
just saying. Just saying.
But if you do download it, you need to send me a message so I can add you as my friend. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Send me a message on my Instagram. It is Kelly Lady
What
Pearl.
you need to do is, if they're gonna do it, they need to message you first, so you can send the request so that you get your points.
That's true.
So then you can kick your brother's ass.
Right. If you'll do that, that's fine. But honestly, if you just download it and want to be my friend, that's fine too. I would like the
But if you
extra
want to
help
help kick her brother's ass,
Team Kill Daniel.
that's so wrong. I didn't even know your brother's name. You only referred to him as my brother.
Yeah,
I have never heard. I had no idea. His name's Daniel.
Yeah. Well, I don't ever even call him that. I call him his middle name because he grew up going by his middle name, and his middle name's Casey. So I call him.
I did know that. Okay.
I call him Casey. I've probably called him his actual name 5 times in his whole life.
Okay, I feel better now.
But he goes by Daniel now.
I was like, how did I not know that? You know, my sister, her name's Tira Elizabeth. And so growing up, she's Tira. That's Tira. She's named after her grandma on her dad's side, different dads. And I loved her grandma. And Tira, that's her name, Tira. She didn't like it. Not because she didn't like the name, but everybody in Texas like Tara.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, it's
Can't
not
get it
Tara,
right.
it's Tira. And she got tired of correcting people. So when she was like 16, she started going by Liz, short for Elizabeth. I can't bring myself to call her Liz. It's not going to happen.
No.
And I mean, maybe that's wrong on my part, but you know, that's Tira. Yeah. And so we have that ongoing thing where everybody in her normal life, I'm like the only one that calls her Tira.
Yeah. A lot of
I mean, my brother did that passed.
Yeah. A lot of times people won't know who I'm talking about if I'm talking to anybody that knows him, and because I'll call him Casey, and they're like, and I'm like, my brother.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, Daniel. I'm like, no, his name's Casey. It's like, his name's not Daniel. No, it is Daniel, but it's not.
It's also Casey.
But my other brother, Hunter, he downloaded it too, but he was on my friends list, but it's not his name. He has another little gamer name. And so I didn't know it was him, and his little profile picture is not his picture either. It's like of this little crab holding the bottle. And I was demolishing him, and I didn't even know it. Like, I was stealing money from him and breaking all
know it
his
was your
stuff.
brother.
And I remember thinking in my head, man, I feel bad for this little crab. And then I saw him at church on Sunday. He's like, why do you keep messing up all my stuff? I was like, I'm not. Who are you? And he told me who it was. I was like, oh. I was like, man, I was feeling bad for that little crab. I didn't even know it was you.
That's funny.
He's like, we're supposed to be ganging up on Casey, not me. I was like, I didn't know it was you. I'm sorry.
Zoe, all 3 of my 4 kids are gamers, right? And I'm not, but 3 of the 4 kids. Zaylee's the only one that's not. She can play, but it's not her thing. Zoe and her girlfriends, okay? So Zoe's 26. Zoe and these Coyote Ugly ex-coworkers of hers are all about gaming. Mm-hmm. And so they don't get off work and home from work till like 4 a.m. Zoe sets her alarm for 4 a.m. to get up and play Xbox with a bunch of girls that just got off work at Coyote Ugly. And I find it so funny because you'll hear her in there.
Yeah.
She'll be like, F that bitch, I blah, 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 blah. And so she told me she started a girl gang. She found a girls group on this game she plays.
Yeah.
And she plays Fortnite, and she plays some other games, but this is on Fortnite. So she found this group of girls, and they're all going to play together, right? She was like, yeah, it's like a girl gang, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, so these are your friends? She goes, no, like my friends and I have become part of this girl gang. She goes, but the average one's about 13. And she said they realize how old we are, and they'll make fun of us and call us old. She's 26. And they'll be like, isn't it your bedtime, old lady? And she goes, and then we're like, F that and F that. And we realize these are kids. We got to stop cussing. Like we got
to be a better example for them.
And she goes, but it was really confusing. I didn't tell them how old I was at first. And, she lives at home with me right now. Mm-hmm. And so she'll talk to me, and every night, I make dinner every night. So every night I make a dinner. And
Mom's calling me to dinner.
She's all about some food. And so she'll be like, Mom, what's for dinner? Or I'll be like, hey, can you take the trash out? Yeah, Mom, just a minute. So they thought she was a teenager too. She was like, no, I'm 26. I just moved home.
She should have just played it out.
Yeah.
I got to go to bed. I got a test in the morning.
Yeah. She's cracking me up. So on my catch, or did I skip past any more catching up? Are you caught up?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't want to skip you.
No, I'm good.
Okay, 'cause I do that. Okay, so my catching up, speaking of Zoe. Zoe has all her friends are getting married. I think I've mentioned this before. Mm-hmm. So her very best friend from when she met in kindergarten in Kingwood, which is outside of Houston where she went to school, most like her elementary age. That best friend from kindergarten, she's now engaged and getting married. So her wedding is going to be in like a year or two, and it's going to be in Austin at this beautiful mansion on Lake Travis in Austin. And so we're excited about that wedding. Well, now Tyler, her boyfriend from high school, I've brought up a few times, that is actually gay. Him and his boyfriend are getting married, and they're getting married in like the most amazing, like it looks like a Tuscan village.
Wow.
Like right next door to the mansion in Austin. So her best friend from Houston and her best friend from Waxahachie are both getting married next door to each other in Austin. What are the chances of that?
That's crazy.
So we're going to those weddings. And then obviously Amaris, her other best friend, is getting married, but she's going to have a destination wedding. So I have 3 weddings coming up, not including my own.
Yeah.
Mine will be an elopement. Mine won't be all that stuff because, I'm older. But we're in wedding mode.
I guess so.
To put it lightly. So I told her, I was like, I need dates. Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's about to be going on, and Zoe's such a bad planner.
Right.
So, like, I have messaged 2 of the friends and been like, directly message me.
Yeah, if you want anything to get done.
Yeah, I'm going to have to reach out to Kim because that's the one I haven't spoken to. So we got that going on. The other thing is I am officially even older than I realized because I've been going, I get up at 4-ish. Mm-hmm. I set my alarm for 4:20. I typically get up I was about 4:05. That's what I'd just naturally wake up. Mm-hmm. The last few weeks, it's getting earlier and earlier, and now I'm averaging 3:20 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
On my own.
No.
And I can't go back to sleep. Once I get up to pee, I'm up. So I keep and I do leave my house pretty early. I leave my house at 5:20 in the morning. So that's 2 hours before I have to leave. And so now, because I'm naturally waking up so early, I'm naturally ready for bed earlier. Mm. So Rick and I the other night got in bed, and it was 8:01, which is not really weird for us. Because he gets up about as early as I do. Depends on the day. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but we're within 30 minutes of each other. And we get in bed. We're ready for bed. Like, we're going to sleep. We're not watching TV. We're not doing anything. We're going to bed. I get in bed first. I lay down. I roll over. I'm going to sleep. And he gets in bed. He turns everything off. And as he rolls over, he can see his clock. He's like, it's 8 o'clock. We are going to sleep at 8 o'clock. When did this happen to us? And I was like a year ago when you moved in. That's how it's been. Then the next night, it was like 7:45. And the next night, it was 7:30. Last night, I went to bed at last night I was up a little later because we attempted to record. So the night before last, I went to bed at 7:15. Wow. I mean, I didn't turn the lights off and the phone off until 7:30, but I was in bed asleep by 7:40.
Pretty soon you're going to be going to bed before the sun does.
Oh my God. There's about to be a time change. That's definitely happening. That's what I thought. I got to fix this because of this time change.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what it is I don't know what else to do because I don't when I'm at home, I clean, I cook, I visit with my family, but I don't watch TV. And I think most people kill that little extra hour or 2 or 3, whatever, however late, with TV.
Yeah, watching shows and
I
stuff.
cannot pay attention to a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't have it in me. And he's been making fun of me, and I'm just like, I'm happy to go to sleep at 7:30. Like, this isn't even a problem for me. But then I get up in the morning and I make him breakfast almost every morning. I don't like breakfast food, so I don't eat it. But I will get up and I make him bacon, eggs, whatever, every morning. So we've been doing that. And I'm just like, what the hell? So this morning I get up, I make the breakfast. I got up at 3:20. I make the breakfast. I start some laundry. I fold some laundry. I swept. I took a shower. Like, I got all this shit accomplished. I go to work. I'm at work by 6 a.m. I work. And then around 10 o'clock, I'm like, I know I have either a half day or I have a full day off on Monday because Zoe has an appointment. I need to look that up. So I go and I look. Yeah, I did take off Monday. I also took today off.
And you forgot.
And I forgot, and I went to work. And no one noticed.
How sad.
That's the second time in 3 weeks I've done that. The second time I've taken a day off and went to work. What the fuck?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Bless your heart.
So then when I realized it, I looked at my computer. I was like, what the fuck? And so I turned to my coworker. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to be off right now. And she's like, what? And I said, I'm supposed to be off right now. She was like, again? I was like, yes, I'm leaving.
Get out of here.
I went to my boss. I'm leaving. I'm not even supposed to be here. That's when I was like, you want to record? I'm off.
Might as
How
well.
ridiculous.
That's okay. You know.
Moral is, when you get older, weird shit happens.
Right. You're turning into a nocturnal animal.
I know. Is it nocturnal? It's the opposite.
Nocturnal's when you're up at night.
But I'm not up at night. I'm up in the morning. I am. The sun is not up.
You're up at night. It's not time.
Yeah, I'm an early nocturnal. So ridiculous. And what's funny is I get up and I have a routine, right? So I get up and I make coffee. First thing I do when I go downstairs is start the coffee. And because it takes forever and I want a cup of coffee. So I start the coffee, and then I let Zaylee's dog out to go to the bathroom. And then I feed her dog, so whenever she comes back in, she has a reward for her bathroom duties. And then I don't like to let my cat out in the morning because it's dark, and I don't know what's going on out there. But then my cat harasses me for the next hour while I'm in the kitchen wanting to go outside, not taking no for an answer. I make breakfast, and I might do one chore. And then I'll go get ready for work. And I thought, I like this life. This is really weird. I'm not complaining about it. I love that I get up in the morning and I have an hour and a half to myself.
Yeah, you don't got nobody else to worry about.
It's awesome.
Besides the cat.
But this morning, Zoe has set her alarm for 4 a.m. because there was some new thing that got, I don't know what it is, some new thing on her video game that released overnight. So all her friends updated this game. And the rule, they were all going to get on at 4 a.m. So she set her alarm to get up.
She got to clock in.
Well, she heard me in there, so she went ahead and got up and came in there. And she's talking to me, and she's showing me like a video on TikTok, and we're laughing. And she's telling me about her dream wedding because we're talking about all her friends getting married. And she's now decided that when she gets married, she wants to get married. And all her friends have these fancy ass weddings, right? Mm-hmm. She was like, I'm thinking Vegas, Taco Bell.
Nice.
They have a drive-through wedding option at the Taco Bell.
Why does that not surprise me?
They provide the vehicle.
That's what she wants to do.
And some tacos.
Sign me up.
She goes, you can even invite Elvis. Right. I could have Taco Bell and Elvis and a drive-through all in my wedding for the low price of $900.
Sold.
And so we're laughing at this at 4 this morning. We wake up. Rick's already awake. He woke up. He heard us. The younger kids now wake up because our house is downstairs. You can hear everything. Mm-hmm. So 4 in the morning, my whole house is awake this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't live with you.
I know.
Like, shut the hell up.
I know. We hate you. Zaylee, today she's talked to me like 5 times and she has brought up, I don't know what y'all were talking about this morning, but it was loud. Like, I'm sorry. Taco Bell weddings.
They're important.
They are important. And her new little guy that she's been seeing, they are going to, well, first off, I don't think I've discussed this. Have I discussed the Texas water?
I don't know.
She told me, she kept coming home with Swedish fish from their dates. She had the candy Swedish fish.
I love Swedish fish.
Apparently she does too. So she told him she loved. Have I told this? Did I tell this the other day?
I don't know.
I can't remember who I've spoken to.
Who can remember?
She told me that she loves Swedish fish, and she told him that she loves Swedish fish. So he buys her a package of Swedish fish for every date. He shows up with Swedish fish.
That's so sweet.
And water from Texas. And I said, why water from Texas? She goes, because I only drink water from Texas. I was like, you do? This is a thing that you've done? Yeah. And just in case I get thirsty on our date, he always has some water from Texas. What if it's not available? I was like, we're in Texas. Pretty sure you could open a tap. She's like, Mom, that's not how you train them. So he shows up with Swedish fish and water from Texas on every date.
Wow. Good for her.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. But she told me that they're going to Denton either next week or the week after that. And that they're going to go up there for like a night because his favorite restaurant is there. And there's like a cat cafe and she wants to go to it. And then she has friends there and he has friends there. So they were like, we'll stay with friends and we'll just make a day of it. But then he starts looking on Airbnb and he found an Airbnb in Denton that's shaped like an acorn and looks like an acorn. It's like an acorn house.
Wow.
Now that's where they're staying. She could not be more excited.
She's living her best life.
This is the same girl that has a tattoo of a carton of milk on her leg. Yeah. So that's all I got to say about that.
It all makes sense.
It all
it's
makes
all
sense.
Coming together.
That's all my catching up. That's all I've done this week. That's all I got for you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Okay, so this topic, I don't want it to sound like to be depressing. And so I'm going to try really hard to not make this depressing, and I'm going to try really hard not to cry. So I'm putting that out there. All but right. I'm perimenopausal, and I cry at Cheetos.
So no promises.
No promises.
It's okay.
Old me would have never cried, but new me... Yeah. She's okay. She's weird as shit.
No judgment zone. You can totally cry.
Yeah. But I wanted to discuss grief because I've lost a few people recently and in general. And I recently lost my pretty good friend, coworker, Christy. And so when I worked at the bar, so this is how I ended up working at the bar. For those of you that have not listened to every single episode and can remember shit, because if you're like me, you have no idea. But I got divorced. I needed more money. My ex-husband wasn't really consistent on child support. I had to take a pay cut to be home more once I became a single mom, so finances became more difficult. And I had been into the Rocket, which is where I worked, a few times. A few times to have a drink or so. And Christy that works there, I knew kind of. I didn't know her real well. Like, she was just a bartender in a bar that I would occasionally go to. And but I really needed to make some money. And so I went to her and I was like, listen, I have zero experience in the bar world, but I need to make some extra money. I can only work like 2 days a week because I have a full-time job. But is there anything you can do for me? And Christy was like, absolutely. So she offered me a position and I worked with her for 7 years, every single Thursday. Like, I didn't miss a single Thursday. And then I would work the weekends too in the beginning. I did stop working them the last few years. And I made more money on Thursdays. Thursday was my day. The weekends, we had a big crew. So we would have 2 cocktail waitresses, 2 or 3 bartenders, depending on the show, and a door guy and a DJ, and maybe someone helping us, like run dishes, whatever the case is, a runner. I don't know what you call that guy anymore. Anyway, a bar back, whatever. And but on Thursdays, it was just Christy and I, our karaoke DJ, which changed, I think, 3 times while I worked there, and our doorman. And that was pretty much it. And I would cocktail, and she would bartend on Thursdays. And the way that, every restaurant's different, every bar's different, how they pay people out. But in that particular one, the cocktail waitress makes a lot less money than the bartender traditionally, and for good reason. The bartender is the one that usually brings in the customers. They're usually the more experienced. They're usually the one that know what they're doing. And that was Christy. She ran that bar. She
sure did.
Yeah. She was very good at what she did. She was the best bartender I've ever met. Her memory was fucking insane. And I'm talking someone could come in and order a drink consistently for like maybe 3 months, and then they would disappear for 2 years. Maybe they got married, and then they got divorced, and they come back. I'm not kidding. This happened all the time. And she wouldn't see them for 2 years. They'd show back up, and she'd be like, Coors Original? She'd be like, double shot of Jack. Like, she knew. She could remember anything. It was insane. everybody's names everywhere. I, on the other hand, remember nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I could literally go out into the bar, take an order, come back, say, you guy in the cowboy hat that comes every single week on Thursday, that one over there, he wants his regular. She'd be like, yeah, Steve wants a whiskey and Coke. I helped him every damn week. No fucking clue. But she tipped me out equally with her. We split absolutely everything every single Thursday, and she did that to help me, honestly. She also did it because I was a Rocket native, and I knew everybody. Yeah. So I did help bring a crowd. And I kept up with everything. It helped her do her job. It made her job easier. So she took really good care of me. So we're working together every Thursday. And every Thursday, we are leaning on each other. We went through some shit. Man, that was the hardest time in my life, hands down. I was hand to mouth. I had 2 special needs kids that I was fighting for correct diagnosis, fighting for correct medication. I was spending on average a month, $1,500 to $2,000 a month on daycare. Like, I made real good money at my regular job. But I was spending so much on daycare because they were special needs. Mm-hmm. They couldn't go to just any daycare. Yep. But on top of that, I was having to take them to their doctors 2 to 3 times a month, and then I'd have to fill their prescriptions. And so almost my entire paycheck from the bar was going to just keeping my autistic kids on the medication they needed for them to be able to function in normal life. Mm-hmm. And then my regular check paid all the bills. And it was a lifesaver for me. It saved my life. It truly did. It saved my kids. It kept food on the table. It kept us able to function. And so you can imagine the conversations Christy and I would have going through that. She was also going through some things. So when she got her cancer diagnosis, I'm pretty sure I'm the first person she told. I know I was in the top 2. But I'm almost positive I was the first person she told. And I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. I know exactly how she told me, where we were standing, how she reacted, how I reacted. I remember it clear as day. And so you can imagine how close and bonded we became through things like that. Yeah. And there's a million stories I could tell. I'm not going to, but there's a million stories that I could tell about our bond. So then she was in the throes of cancer when I left. And I left because Rick basically offered to pay me out so I didn't have to work a second job anymore. Yeah. And he wanted me to have rest and be available. And what was happening is I was working Thursdays, and then on Fridays I was so exhausted, I was ready to go to sleep the moment we had a date night. And we only saw each other on weekends. And he was like, I want to enjoy your company Friday and Saturday, and I can't if you're exhausted all the time. Yeah. And what would happen was, for a long time, I'd be exhausted from Thursday. I'd go to sleep early Friday when I was with him, but I'd have to work at the bar again Saturday. So we really didn't have any time together, you know? So he bought me out of my contract basically, and he would pay me the difference. And so that I didn't have to worry about it. And so she was dealing with cancer at that time when I left, but we thought manageable. We thought fixable, hopefully. That was the goal. It didn't work out that way. She passed away from it. It didn't work out that way. But after she passed, or after I left, we stayed in contact, but she was sick. She stopped going to lunches and getting pedicures and doing all the things that she would do in her spare time. Mm-hmm. And she worked nights when she still would work. Like anytime she wasn't in the hospital, she would still work. So I worked mornings and days, and she worked nights. So it was really hard to see each other, but we just kept a really good bond. And so when she passed last week, all I could think about was how close we were at work. And I don't usually have that relationship with coworkers. Now, I do have coworkers that I liked at work, and I really cared about them, and I really mixed well with them. But I didn't typically tell them. They might think they knew what was going on in my real life, but they didn't. I wasn't taking them on girls' weekends. I wasn't, they just didn't know. They knew what I allowed them to know, and that was it.
Very small portion.
Yes.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Michelle, my friend Michelle, is my only coworker I've ever really let into the fold like that. And Christy. And so Christy and I just had this really, really good relationship. And so I really just started thinking about how weird it is that I work with this person. And honestly, we never really hung out outside of work. Mm-hmm. I can remember maybe twice we hung out outside of work. It was just there, but it was just very intense. And so when she passed away, I was upset, obviously. I was thinking about grief, and I've lost quite a few friends the last few years. And, I struggled with it. I mean, I cried for days. And a friend of mine reached out to me that knew Christy, knows me, and from Red Oak, and reached out to me and said, I saw your post about Christy and everybody else's post about Christy. And I just want to say, I notice how close you are to people, and then they die and you have pictures and actual memories and conversations. Like, you're not a fair weather friend. And so I just want to thank you for being basically more than a fair weather friend. And the word she used, but that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
And so her sister passed away a few years ago, and I'm her only friend that showed up to the funeral.
Wow.
And so I start thinking about, everybody has a different reaction. Some people can't do funerals. There are people that can't go to their own parents' funerals. Yeah. They're certainly not going to go to an old classmates or whatever the case is. Uh-huh. Whereas my mom was, I'm going to show up at your funeral. I'm going to let your family know you were loved by other people, not just them. Yeah. And so my mom was really good, and I think that's why I'm that way. But it takes a toll on you.
It does.
And I've been to so many funerals lately. Mm-hmm. And so, like, Chrissy's thing is this upcoming Sunday. And, you and I were just talking about before we recorded. I was like, do I go? I don't even know if I want to go. I don't know if I'm funeraled out, maybe. I don't know how else to put it. But again, you want to go to support. I want people to know she's loved by more than just her family.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously your family loves you, but you're loved by more than just your family, and I want to show up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I was saying, I think that it would be very important to even if you're not sure about it, but you being there and the friend that you were and the memories that you have, being there would be a really important thing. And you would be able to bring conversations and bring memories to that place and the people that are there. I think that would be very impactful. Yeah. As opposed to you not being there.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing because it's like one of those things where you don't want to, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you don't want to take attention away from the family, but you want to show support. Yeah. And it's just, grief is weird.
It is.
It's weird. And everybody handles it differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to put it. I went to a funeral a few years ago for a friend of mine that passed away, and he was gay, and all of us went. We were all all his friends from his adult life went, and then more friends came, though, from his childhood and high school, and I was one of those friends. And we went to the funeral, and Mary was there, Mary's brother was there, and, a bunch of other guys I knew from high school, and everybody was straight that was there that came from school. But none of us cared, that's not us. And the family gave more of a come to Jesus, like literally a call. They did a call to offer at the funeral. It was in a funeral home, but they did a call to the offer. So if you're religious, altar. If you're religious, you understand what that means. It means you come to get saved. You come to ask for repentance, however you want to put it. And it was very much directed at his friends.
Yeah.
Because he was gay.
That's not cool.
None of us are gay. Right. So
and
we're
even
all
if you were, that doesn't mean that you need Jesus.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Well, and I always think to myself, okay, when I die, what's going to happen? What's my family going to do? What's the plan? I mean, I know they wouldn't do that, but what's the plan? What do you want? Yeah. To let to help your family properly grieve. Maybe that's what his family needed, and so he was cool with it because his family needed it. I mean, he was my friend that had the separate party for his friends that he planned, that you went to.
Yeah.
And so he did think about that. He knew what was going to happen at his funeral. And so I often think about that, and I wonder if other people think about that, if they think about what's going to happen. Because, like, I'm at the age now that I've buried quite a few friends the last few years that are my age. And whether it be cancer or liver disease or, diabetes. I've lost heart attacks. I've had a few people with heart attacks, What is the plan? And holy shit, my friends are dying. How old am I? If it's hard for me to put my panties on, how close am I? Yeah. And so just taking care of yourself. And I didn't really know how to, when Kelly and I talked about what we're going to talk about this week, I didn't really know how to make this a conversation.
Yeah.
Is it about grief? Is it about the fact that I'm realizing I'm older and I need to take care of myself? Or that I need to get my affairs in order because I could live 30, 40 years or I could live 2.
Yeah.
And this is this is middle age.
Right.
Like I'm literally in the middle of age, hopefully. And I need
dab in the middle.
Yes, and I need to make plans.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that's, her ex-boyfriend was like, I don't know how much younger than her, but I want to say 14 years. Like it was a significant difference, and he was quite a bit younger. And they had a great relationship, and she ended it, I don't know, 5 years ago. And she's older than I am. And when she ended it, I was shocked because they really had a good relationship, I thought. He was younger than her, but he was an adult, you know. And it wasn't a weird relationship. There was no weirdness going on in it. It just happened to be what it was. And her reasoning was she's at the stage of life, which is about where I am now in age. She's at the stage of life where she's thinking about, do I have a retirement plan? Do I have my affairs in order? My kids are grown now. I can move anywhere I want. I can do this. Do I want to buy a smaller house? And, whereas her boyfriend was never had children and didn't have a great career, was really just starting to establish himself in his field. And she was like, that's not the stage of life I want to be in again.
Yeah.
It's not the stage of life I can be in again. Yes, I could financially be in that stage again, and I could help this person get their life in order and get their career going. But I'm on the end of the spectrum where I'm trying to tie up loose ends and start the next chapter of my life.
Yeah.
And they don't mesh. Mm-hmm. And it didn't make any sense to me when it happened. When they broke it off, I was very confused by it because I was just like, Rick's 6 years younger than me. So what's the big deal? He's younger. Now I get that is a significant age difference. Mm-hmm. And that makes total sense.
Yeah.
It took me a while to quite understand why. But the last few years, I do think about things like that. And it's weird to think about things like that.
It is. That's one of the things that when me and Dante were getting together, because he's older than me. He's 9 years older than me.
And I didn't even know that till the other day. It's so weird.
And right now he's 10 years older than me because my birthday hasn't come up yet.
Right.
So, but that's where he was. Like he had kids, but they were getting a little bit older. And he didn't want to have any more kids. So that was a concern before we actually had the talk that he didn't have to worry about that. It was because I am younger than him.
Right.
And I don't have any kids. And if I was going into that relationship of, I want us to get married, I want to have kids, I have all these plans.
That wouldn't work for him.
He's at the point of life where he's done with that. He's past that phase. And now he's going into, he's established, he has a good career. Now that his kids are growing up, he's, making different plans for his future. So if those things didn't align, it doesn't matter how well we are together, how much we love each other. If we can't make that work, we're in two different places.
Right.
And so it worked out that I didn't want to have kids. I wasn't looking at I want us to get married and have kids and all this stuff that he would have to start all over.
You're a unicorn.
Yeah. So it works. But it is a big age gap. And I've thought about, and I've had, people that I know that, have had their significant other pass away and they were in their 40s, that doesn't compute in my head. That's still so young in my head to think about, losing somebody at that stage in life.
Yeah.
And then I think about Dante's in his 40s. If something were to happen to him, or I don't even know what I would do.
Right.
It's crazy to think about something like that. And then I think I'm not really that far. I'm about to turn 35, and that's so young to me. But I've noticed that I start having these mortality thoughts more than I used to, and to think of how limited our lives actually can be. Even if I live to a nice old age, which would be nice, but that's not promised. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's really crazy, but you have to think about it.
Yeah,
you have to plan and you have to think about it.
Especially once you get to this point, it's. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't.
Yeah.
And you're doing a disservice to the people around you, the people that love you and care about you, if you don't actually think about it.
And I think that when my friend and that all happened with them and they broke it off, I was confused by it because I really thought they had a good connection. They seemed happy. And that's what she would say. Nope, we're very happy. Everything's great, but I love him so much. I want him to have children.
Yeah. You don't want to take that away from somebody.
Yeah. And that's what she said. I want him to find all the things that he wanted to find. And, in her.
Yeah.
But it was not meant to be.
Yeah.
And I get it more now.
Yeah.
I didn't, 5 years made me get it more. But I buried quite a few more friends in the last 5 years. I mean, I buried my brother. He was 49. Like, I get it. Like, that's the age I am right now. Right. Like, and I think about that. And like, one of my friends, when they passed away, all I could think for the next few days after she passed away was she is sitting in a morgue. I could not stop thinking about it. I just was like, she's alone. Death is weird.
It really is.
Yeah. Like you can't go and like hold her hand.
Yeah. She's
gone.
All that time is up now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's up. And so I think it's important that we think about other people's feelings in life because once it's done, it's done. But that includes making your burial plans and making those plans. And the reason I say that is when my mom passed away, that was my first experience of I had to make plans. I had to do it. And she did it all. So she passed away, and the only thing I had to do was pick the color of flowers on her casket. That's it. That is the only thing I was responsible for. And what a relief. Like
that took a big burden off of you.
Oh my God. You know? And so I just always think to myself, I've got to do that for my kids. I've got to plan it. And have I done it yet? No. Do I need to? Yes. It's got to be done. I don't want my kids to have to do that. And when my stepmom passed away, no one thought she was dying. That was very shocking. And we didn't have shit planned. We didn't know what she wanted. We didn't know anything. And she was 61 and we were clueless. You know, my dad, he had his shit planned. Have I told him to? Yes. Will he do it? No. And you know who I take after? My dad.
Yeah.
I am just like him. And so I'm like, I got to get this shit together. I cannot put, and first off, my kids are not near as put together as I was at their age. Like they do not have their shit together. Their shit is not in a row. And I had more of my shit together in my 20s than I do now, quite honestly. And so I'm like, I got to get my shit together because I don't know. My kids, I could end up anywhere.
Literally.
There's no telling. I mean, look, Zol's in my damn purse.
Right.
Traveling all over the damn place with me. Bless his heart.
It's okay.
Anyways, I just, I don't know I don't even know what this real topic is. I guess it's, life is short and plan, but also live the most you can in the time that you have.
Yeah.
And that you find friends all over the place. Because when I think about my friends that I have buried, I have met them in the weirdest places, in the weirdest times of my life. Like, Christy at the bar. I did not know Christy from Adam. Our first shift, we had spoken maybe 4 times. And that girl, man, I cried on her shoulder. She cried on my shoulders. We hid in a freezer one time. Have I ever told you a story we had to hide in the freezer?
I don't think so.
Okay, so any of y'all from Texas will know what I'm talking about. I think it made national news, honestly, but I could be wrong, but I think it did. But a few years ago, I want to say it's been about 7 years now, we were working at the bar, and there was a big ordeal in Waco, Texas, where 2 motorcycle clubs had a shootout. Really, it was the police's fault. That's a different story. There was a shootout at this Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco, Texas, and it was between 2 motorcycle clubs. One of those motorcycle clubs, I'm not going to name names because I'm not stupid. One of those motorcycle clubs, we're in their territory. Okay, so we are their territory. And on Thursday nights was bike night.
Yeah.
So I served bikers all night long. It was a great clientele, made a lot of money, met a lot of great people. Some not as great as others, some a little scary, but for the most part. And so the week before the Waco situation, the one that runs our territory, they had a meeting in another town, like 3 hours away, 4 hours away. So they're gone. So the other club comes in to the bar who have never been in there because they're not supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
To basically piss on territory, to let them know.
Because they knew that they weren't going to be there.
Yeah, so they came to piss on their territory. It's a Thursday night. It's just Christy and I working. We knew that these bikers were going to be out of town. So it was like us, it was the door guy, and it was our karaoke girl. I don't think our karaoke person was even there, to be honest with you, because we knew it was going to be a slow night because of that. And they show up, and I'm like, I don't know, 40, 50 of them. I don't remember how many show up. And we're like, what the hell? What are they doing here? And it's just like tension. Like you can feel it. Chrissy's nervous. I'm nervous. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And she was like, I don't know, but they're not supposed to be here. This is not good. They ran off. The few customers we had got scared and left. Like they were intimidating.
Yeah.
So, and these are like biker friendly people they scared off.
Yeah.
So they leave. And we're like, what the hell? They're ordering nothing.
So y'all just have a bunch of bikers in the club.
So they've run off the paying customers we have, and then they're not buying anything. So we are losing money. We are not making any money at all. And we're both single. She was a single mom. She had a significant other that brought fucking nothing to the table. And that left her while she was dying of cancer. So I'm going to put that out there. And so her and I both paid the bills for our homes. So we needed our money. And so we were used to taking home a few $100s a night. I mean, quite a few $100s a night. And we were making nothing. And so we're both freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's getting more and more tension. I'm like, Chrissy, we need to leave. We need to close the bar, kick them out. I don't know what we need to do. We need to call somebody, but this is uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. She was like, I don't feel safe either. And she always felt safe. She goes, let me make some phone calls. So she called somebody, said what was up. And they said, all right, we'll be on it in a second. Go to the freezer, lock yourself in it. What? Are you kidding?
Just do it.
So we did.
That's so crazy.
We locked ourselves in the back freezer.
Yeah.
We just walked back there. We didn't tell anyone. We're not serving you or anything. We're going to where we're safe. So we locked ourselves in the freezer. We're in there. We don't know what's going on in the bar, but we're not in there. And so we're texting. Then we hear on the freezer door. And we're not going to say a word. We're not opening the freezer, and we're not saying a word.
Nobody's home.
And finally, they're like, it's so-and-so, which is someone we knew who she'd been texting. Well, she was texting someone else that was connected to them. We're like, can we come out? And they're like, yeah, you can come out. So we come out, and they were all gone. All this group of people are gone. And the person they sent wasn't a member of their club, but was friendly with them and came to kind of scout the situation.
Yeah.
You know? And by the time they got there, that entire group had left. They never bought anything. They didn't ruin anything. They didn't break anything. They didn't, it was just an intimidation factor. And they ran off all our paying customers.
Yeah.
So we were like,
they did what they intended to do.
They did what they intended to do. The next week was Waco.
Wow.
It was the same people.
Wow.
Which was a shootout. Now, they didn't start it. I believe the police realized there was a situation that could happen, so they showed up, and they actually kind of made it happen.
Escalated it.
Yes. Regardless, we were scared shitless hiding in the freezer. That's how you become real good friends, when you're hiding in the freezer.
I would have to say that would cement a friendship right there.
Yeah. I will say that the club that does, I guess, run this territory showed up the next week. And I don't remember how much we got, but they gave us a few $100s each.
They took care of you.
They took care of us. Yeah. So I'm not speaking on all clubs. I'm not speaking to every person in either one of those clubs. I'm speaking to my experience in that particular evening.
This is just what happened.
I got a million other stories with Christy. So similar. We had such a good time together when we worked together, and it was I have so many good memories. I mean, they're not all scary. Most of them are really good memories, and she took very, very, very good friend of me. And I keep thinking this too about her passing is she wasn't a girl's girl like you would think. Like, she didn't have a bunch of girlfriends that she hung out with. Like, she would tell me that. I just don't have a lot. I have some girlfriends, but like nothing like what you have. Like, I just don't have that. And I was like, you do. Like, I know they're customers, but these people would ride or die for you. Like, you are significant in a lot of women's lives. But she would see guys acting weird, and she would handle it. She would see a guy disrespectful, and she'd handle it. She was really good about sticking up for women.
Yeah, she was.
So she was a woman's woman.
There were a couple of times that I had gone into the Rocket and even the night that I ended up getting assaulted, she was there that night.
Yeah.
And before that happened, there was a small altercation by the bar that she saw. And so I, had talked to her about that, and she's like, don't worry, because I didn't even know the girl that assaulted me, but she knew, and she knew what was going on. She knew what her problem was, which I was blindsided by it. But that's the reason that they were already looking out, because she made sure that it happened. So as soon as that girl assaulted me, there were people right there, because the door guy was told, hey, keep a lookout. And she was removed from me.
And when it happened, and they put I don't know, you put a restraining order or whatever, but she made sure the bar as long as she was there, she was making sure the bar was handling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
they
didn't
were
have to worry about
living up to that, you know, so.
I know. It wasn't until after she stopped working there that I'd gone and that girl actually was there again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, seriously,
Yeah.
I deal with this.
Yeah,
But,
now I can't come here anymore.
I know. But she made sure that people were looked after and taken care of.
She did.
All the time.
She made sure people had rides home. She made sure, I just saw her do so many good things for so many people. But she also, man, she didn't play. Like, you fuck up, you out. You gone.
Yeah.
And I would laugh because working in a bar setting, particularly a bar like this, where it's like a small town bar and you got a bunch of regulars, but on top of that, you get a bunch of people that aren't regulars, but they are. Like, you might see them on Saturday night only. You might not always interact with them. She knew who everybody's spouse was and who their side person was. She knew so much dirt on Ellis County. She would crack me up with the shit she would tell me. She'd be like, okay, you see that guy over there? All right, let me tell you. I'll be like, oh my God, yeah, tell me, what you got? What you got? Well, we knew everything going on in Ellis County. It was hilarious.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah. But she really, this week, I just can't turn it off. I'm happy she's not in pain anymore. But man, grief's a bitch.
Sure is.
It really is.
I don't deal with grief at all. Like, my brain doesn't let me. I'll get sad for a second and then it registers and then it kind of like blanks me out. And then I don't feel anything, which I don't think is a good thing. I mean, I'm glad that my brain protects me and does something for me, but it will just completely remove me from the situation and I just won't feel anything.
Yeah.
And then that makes me sad because I want to be able to grieve, but my brain cuts it off. It's like, nope, we're not dealing with this.
Yeah. Well, I have always, and I don't remember who originally told me this, but I have always said this and lived by this, that no one's dead until people stop talking about them and forget them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to talk about people I love that have passed and keep them alive.
Yeah.
But I truly don't think anyone's gone until everybody's forgotten about them. And that happens. I mean, eventually everybody dies off that knows them. You're going to forget about them.
Yeah.
You know? And, I had an older friend years ago that said, all my friends have died. Like, I've lost everybody. I'm ready to go. I'm tired of being the one that remembers everybody.
Right.
And I just thought, okay, well, life cycle is a real thing because I get that.
It is.
What's the point of being alive and you have nobody left? You know, which is why it's important people take care of their elderly.
True.
Because think about how many people are like, I don't want to go to grandma's. Fucking go to grandma's.
Go. I know. That's one of the things that I've been trying hard to do to make sure, because you get wrapped up in your life and everybody has plans and you get busy and I'm like, I have so much going on. But I have tried to make more of an effort to let go of the things that don't really matter that much, or I could do at a different time and make the time to go and see my parents and see the people that are still here, because you don't know how long that you have.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, because even no time is going to be enough time for me. Like, it doesn't matter if I have my parents until
every day. Yeah.
You know, it's once that time comes, it's not going to be enough time.
No.
I'm still going to wish that I had more time and had another conversation.
You're always going to have regrets.
And had another hug or another kiss. It's never going to be enough. So to the time that I do have, I try to really remind myself and put myself in the mindset of make this count, make it important.
Yeah.
Make a memory.
Make a memory. Yeah.
Now you got me going.
I'm sorry. I was like, how do I not make this sad?
Kleenex over here.
I have napkins.
Oh, give me a napkin.
I didn't want to make it sad, and I didn't want to make it a cry fest, but it's, we all go through it. Everybody loses somebody, and it fucking sucks. But you do have to pull yourself out of it and find the positives and, move forward. Nobody wants you sitting at home crying all the time.
No.
And
get out there and make some more connections.
Yeah, but make some memories and make some time for your friends. I did, Christy was in the hospital a few years ago for I want to say 3 months. She was in there a long time. Did you go with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I went a few times, and I took different people almost every time I went. I was like, who wants to go with me? Who wants to go with me?
That's good.
Because it was like a 2-hour drive to the hospital. She was in a different hospital. Ironically, she was in the hospital Zoe died in.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? And I have no connection to this town. And I have now been there for Christy, my brother, and my cousin. My cousin's alive. But
you got a connection to that town now?
No shit, man. I'm tired of Temple, Texas. Fuck Temple. No, I'm kidding. They're lovely people. Apparently they have a good cancer hospital, which is why all these people keep ending up there. But no bueno. But I'm thankful that I did that and that I was there for her and that, in what way I could be.
Yeah.
Do I think I was enough? No. But I think I was more than maybe other people.
Yeah.
Every
Every little thing you do, it makes an impact. And not even just on them, like you being there for them, but it does something for you too.
Oh, yeah.
And the people that you're able to take with you, it helps you out. It helps give you a little bit more of that memory and helps you feel like you really did something for them.
Right.
Not that you're doing it for yourself. But
I always
it is
feel like
important.
it shows them that people care about them.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have another friend that has been in and out of the hospital the last year and, had a heart attack. And he was mad because none of his friends showed up. Like, they didn't even call him. And he was like, I have childhood friends that I have seen every week since we were in 4th grade. And, this man's like 55 that did not check on me.
That's crazy.
And I thought, wow.
And I understand, because I understand that some people are like, I don't know what to do, or they just can't do it. Like and the thing is, it's not like you have to do some grand gesture. It's not like you have to take them things. It's not like you have to spend money. It's literally just showing up or just giving a call. Like it's not that hard
a text,
to do.
Whatever. When everything happened with Amy over the holidays, and I felt like I was bugging Al to ask questions or to find out more information. And I didn't, it's just a fine line. You don't know where you're prying. And I'm her friend, but does she consider me close enough? She wants her business said to me. I don't know. I can't speak for her, And so I didn't feel like I did enough. I truly did not feel like I felt like I shouldn't do too much, because that's stepping on toes, but I felt like I didn't do enough. And so I did try to find ways to do what I could do. And so after everything was said and done and she was home and her and I got to hang out and everything, I was like, girl, I need to know what I can do. I need you to tell me where our friendship line is so I know if I'm allowed to harass him. I wanted to demand answers without being demanding. I didn't know what to do. And so we talked about it. Yeah. Amy and I know now where I stand and what I need to do. And I know with you where I stand. I would know. I know with Mary where I stand. But I have other friends that I'm on the edge of how important am I? But I want to be present and I want to show up. And I think people know I'm a present friend, so they expect it. So I think it almost is worse if I don't.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, she does for everybody else.
You have Dante's number. You have my mama's number. You know who you. That's one of the things with my friends that I want them to be able to know. Because the people who are really close to me, they have my mom's number.
Yeah.
Mostly because I lose my phone all the time. I mean, but you got my mom's number. And
she's got ours.
You have Dante's number. Yeah. So that makes you important enough. If something were to come up and you have my mama's number, yes, you can call.
You're important enough.
You can call and she will give you answers because she has you saved in her phone too. Right. So she knows this is Kelly's person. I can tell them.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's one more thing. That's part of planning.
Yeah.
Is if there's an emergency, who are my ride or dies? Who are my people that you can tell them what's going on with me medically and I'm okay with it?
Yeah.
Because I get where that's not something you necessarily want everything out there.
Yeah. And that's how my mom knows is if she has you saved in her phone, she knows that
I can talk to them. I can help them, or that I can call them and they can help me.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, Well, I'm glad we have established this. Y'all make some notes. That's what I'm saying. Learn things from what I have lived. Because, the Amy situation, that was my takeaway when everything happened with Amy was I don't know what I'm allowed to ask.
Yeah.
And I need to know. Mm-hmm. And I did have that conversation with both Al and Amy, more Amy than Al.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't like being in the dark.
Yeah. So when things like that happen, I think that's one of the reasons that people are so shy away from going to the hospital or asking things because they don't know if they can.
Yeah.
So
they don't want to step on toes.
Figuring that kind of stuff out beforehand will help you in those times because right. Oh, I have a right to be here. I have a right to ask.
Yeah. I did tell Mary that when I die and they have my funeral, if she outlives me, that she can tell people that I don't want there to leave.
Why are you even here?
Yeah, she didn't even like you.
You can exit the building.
Yeah. She didn't even go here. No, I'm kidding. She wouldn't really do that, but it would be funny.
Oh, yes, she would.
She might. It is Mary.
If she won't, I will.
If anyone would, it'd be Mary.
I'm like, Mary, go tell that person to leave.
Yeah. She's like, bitch, I don't know who you are, but let me tell you about 1992 when we were at Lollapalooza and you made a fool of yourself. No.
Marilee's going to have a taser at my funeral.
Right? You know what? I didn't go to the funeral. I was supposed to go to a funeral with somebody who I am no longer friends with, thank God. She was very toxic. And this was at the end of our friendship. And a guy she had a situationship with that she was calling her boyfriend died. And so her friends and her other friend, came from all over Texas to come support her and go to the funeral. And so we are almost to the funeral, and I'm going to meet her and them there because I'm coming from a different city than them. I'm within 20 minutes of the funeral, and I get a text. Don't come to the funeral. We're not welcome there.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, what? I don't know the guy, so I don't assume I'm welcome there. I assume no one knows who I am, so whatever. We're not welcome there. Meet us here instead. We'll talk about it. I'm like, okay, this is weird. What's going on? So I get to, meet up with all the friends and get there. She was the other woman.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I could see how that could make you not welcome.
We did not know she was the only woman.
Oh, my God.
She talked about her boyfriend for a good 8 months, and we had no idea she was the other woman and that she was not, in fact, the girlfriend.
She knew she was the other
Yes.
woman? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so his family had her picture printed and had security.
Oh, my God.
So if she showed up at the funeral, she would not be allowed in.
That is insane.
I'm not kidding. This is like right around the time you and I met. This is when her and I stopped being friends.
Oh, my gosh.
And she's telling us this like
it's no big deal.
how dare them keep me from there.
Yeah, she had something going on upstairs.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Yeah.
Because not that I would be the other woman, but if I was that knew I was the other woman, why would I have the audacity to think that I would be able to be welcome?
I don't know if I can't answer this now. I probably did know at that time. She probably did tell me this eventually. I don't know. I can't remember. But I don't know that they knew she existed. I don't know if she knew they knew who.
So she thought maybe she was going to fly under the radar?
Maybe. And maybe she thought that they were just friends, or I don't know. I don't know. But that honestly, I've only seen her I only saw her maybe one time after that. And we were friends for a long time, but I only saw her one time after that because that was kind of like the bad taste in my mouth I needed.
Yeah.
And there was a few other incidences with her, but that was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
When they're passing out your mug shot, basically. It wasn't a mug shot, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And, the writing was on the wall, and I ignored it for a long time. There's a lot of things that she did that I would just let it go because it wasn't my problem. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, this is not.
There comes a point where you just have to let someone go.
Yeah, let them go. Really glad I did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that happened. Isn't that freaking insane? I've forgotten about that till just now.
That's a fun little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But it ties in,
But it ties in. Yeah. That's all I got. You got anything else?
I think we're good.
I don't know what we're going to call this segment. Death and shit. Death and shit.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. That's what I'm going with. This is why I don't name the title. This is Kelly's job. I don't title them because I'm over here. Death and shit. I've named one other one, and it was something similar.
It was dick pics and menopause.
There you go. Maybe I should be naming them, Kelly. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.